rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning and welcome to RPtv. Today is Thursday, October 14, 2021. Union County is ready to celebrate its past with this weekend's special program called 4 Centuries in a Weekend. Let's go to Callie for some interesting details.
The Roselle Park Museum displays photographs, documents, and memorabilia related to the history of Roselle Park and offers changing exhibits of topical interest. The borough was shaped by the railroad, and by the 1860s, the station along Central Railroad of New Jersey had become the nucleus of a small village. Farming remained prominent in the 1880s. By 1883, the Charles Stone store on Westfield Avenue became the first store in the world to be lighted by Edison's incandescent lamp. Industrial development along the railroad corridor included the Marconi Wireless Telegraph Company of America, established in 1912, which manufactured much of the wireless equipment used in World War I. David Sarnoff worked at this facility as commercial manager and later became chairman of RCA. RCA's radio station, WDY, housed in Roselle Park's Marconi facility, became one of the earliest licensed broadcasting stations in the United States. The Nitschke House is one of Kenilworth's original clapboard wood frame farmhouses, and represents the architectural style typical of homes built in the area in the 1800s. The house is named for one of Kenilworth's pioneers, Oswald J. Nitschke, who owned the home and resided there in the early 1900s. He advocated in the 1907 incorporation of Kenilworth and was elected to the first council, serving more than 7 years. A 3-term mayor, Nitschke was responsible for development of the unique 120-foot wide boulevard and its extension through the Union County Park System. The Kenilworth Historical Society has restored the house and transformed it into a living history museum and cultural center.
Also in Union County, an exciting concert is being offered for free. And as we come to the end of Hispanic Heritage Month, Cooper has the details.
The Union County Board of Commissioners will present a concert in the park, a free musical celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month, featuring the Hector Morales Salsa Band on Saturday, October 16th from 3 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Outdoors at Union County's Warnanko Sports Center, located at 1 Park Drive in Warnanko Park in Roselle. The first 150 participants will receive a free food voucher for use at the concert. The concert caps a month of Hispanic heritage. Activities sponsored by the Commissioner Board, including the raising of the country's first ever Hispanic heritage flag at the Country Courthouse in Elizabeth, a family movie night double feature at Plainfield High School, a family fun day at Rahway River Park, and a countrywide visual art exhibit, in addition to showcasing the Hector Morales Salsa Band. In the concert in the park will feature an award ceremony recognizing the contributions of 3 members of the Hispanic community in Union County. George A. Casto II, owner of Premier Homes Real Estate Firm in Roselle Park, Juanetta Vargas, Vice President of Programs and Operations at United Way of Greater Union County, and Union County's Under Sheriff Alkmer Miki Kola. Food trucks will be on site, and residents are welcome to bring their own picnic.
Now it's time for announcements. The Roseville Park Recreation Department is proud to announce the first ever girls-only recreational wrestling program. Registration will open on October 18th. You can sign up online at rprecreation.recdesk.com. The Garden Club is hosting their annual pumpkin decorating contest. It's $10 to enter and a pumpkin is provided. All clubs, staff, homerooms, and families are encouraged to join. Voting forms can be picked up in the main office. Newspaper Club will meet today at the Roseville Park Veterans Memorial Library at 3 p.m. If you have not yet submitted a permission slip to Ms. Robeson, please do so as soon as possible. If you need a permission slip, please see Ms. Robeson in room 2 before Thursday. Yesterday, the girls' soccer team picked up their 8th win with an overwhelming defeat of Hillside High School, with a final score of 6-0. The Panthers spread the scoring around as Ariana Chavez led the attack with 2 goals, while Madison Molinaro, Tessa Dunkerton, Audrey Miller, and Allison Colon scored 1 goal each. Our final report this morning concerns the changing weather and the summer-like conditions. That will soon be here. Let's go back to Callie for that report.
According to the forecasters here in New Jersey, the weather will feel more like a summer day in June than a day in October. With high pressure circulating over the eastern U.S. and warm air surging in from the Ohio Valley, afternoon temperatures in the Garden State are expected to climb into the mid to upper 70s on Thursday and upper 70s to low 80s on Friday and Saturday, the National Weather Service says. The upcoming weather will be about 15 degrees warmer than average temperatures and will possibly set the record highs for this time of year. The highest temperature it had ever got in New Jersey during this month was 85 degrees in Georgetown in 2008. The weather is not expected to go that high, but it will feel warm. As the weather warms up, enjoy it while you can. Forecasters say a strong cold front will likely push its way across New Jersey on Saturday, sparking a round of rain showers and possible thunderstorms with gusty winds in the afternoon and evening.
Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
I feel like they should actually put ads,
Thanks for watching, have a great day, and stay tuned for CNN 10.
The world may be one step closer to knowing exactly where coronavirus came from. Then again, it may not. And an explanation of why is our first story today. I'm Carl Azus, glad to have you watching. In May of this year, U.S. President Joe Biden gave American intelligence officials 90 days to come up with a report on the origins of coronavirus. The big question, was it naturally transmitted from an animal to a human, or was it leaked from a Chinese laboratory into the human population? Initially, medical groups like the World Health Organization and the U.S. Centers for Disease Control said they believed the virus probably originated in bats, but then jumped to people as other viruses have done. But some members of Congress and the Trump administration called for a closer look at the lab leak theory, that the virus escaped from a Chinese research facility into the public. After the Biden administration's 90 days were up for its investigation, U.S. intelligence agencies said they still didn't have a definitive answer. They concluded that either a natural origin or a lab leak was still plausible, though they didn't think COVID was produced as a biological weapon. One thing intelligence and health officials have wanted from the get-go is more information from China. The communist country originally said its scientists didn't encounter COVID until December of 2019. A previous U.S. intelligence report said workers at a Chinese lab were getting sick and being hospitalized a month before that. China has not allowed an open investigation by international researchers like those with the World Health Organization, and even though the nation is about to provide new results from more testing, it'll be China and China alone that's doing the tests. It has no plan to allow people from other countries to participate. Scientists say that's what's needed to verify what really happened with COVID-19.
Tens of thousands of tiny blood samples taken in Wuhan in the last months of 2019 are still stored in a hospital there.
The samples from the blood bank absolutely will contain vital clues.
They could potentially be very revelatory.
This is the closest to the world we've seen of real-time samples.
The samples might reveal when, and even where, antibodies against the virus first appeared in humans in October or November 2 years ago. China says they had to be kept for legal reasons for 2 years in case of lawsuits over the blood transfusions they are from. But now that limit is almost up for the key months at the end of 2019, and a Chinese official confirmed to CNN that China is preparing to test them, echoing a promise from July when they said they would share the results. Related institutions from the Chinese side, he says, also express that once they have the results, they will deliver them to both the Chinese and foreign expert teams. The samples come from the disposable tubes that carry donor blood into the donor bag, and are something the WHO team said earlier this year they wanted to examine.
Can you find the origins of the coronavirus?
They could contain vital, detailed information.
Might also help us to follow the trajectory of the spread of the virus, by tracking the individuals who may carry the virus.
And you would like to go back to find out exactly during which month this virus started to leave fingerprints in the human population in China.
10-second trivia. Which of these manufacturing fields employs the most people in the U.S.? Food, machinery, motor vehicle, or computers and electronics? Of these options, the U.S. Labor Department says food manufacturing employs the most people. According to a new report released just this week, almost 3% of the American workforce quit their jobs in August. That is a record. The U.S. Labor Department started keeping track of the quit rate in the year 2000, and this August was the first time that 4.3 million workers left their positions. They didn't all stop working entirely. Many left for new jobs, and this didn't apply evenly in all industries. The quit rate was highest in hotel and food services. Wholesale trade workers and state and local government education employees also increasingly left their jobs. Experts say this happens in part because people feel confident they can get a better job somewhere else. But it's possible that concerns about coronavirus, as cases were rising in August, also factored in, as did Americans' ongoing challenges in finding childcare. The United States currently has a major labor shortage, and it's affected several fields, from manufacturing and trucking to food service, construction, and education. America's number of job openings in July was more than 11 million. That's also a record since the year 2000, but it decreased a little in August to 10.4 million. Experts say the labor shortage contributes to rising prices, problems with the supply chain, shortages of goods, and delays with shipping. That's why some officials are advising Americans to do their Christmas and holiday shopping early, as available gifts may be limited or sold out. Of the 20,000 athletes who competed in this week's Boston Marathon, many of them had run in other marathons before, but we would bet that far fewer had finished an Ironman triathlon, which is a marathon after a 2.4-mile swim and a 112-mile bike ride, and that's all got to be done in 17 hours or less. Now, if you factor in being featured on SportsCenter and holding a Guinness World Record, you've likely whittled this field of athletes down to one, and that one is named Chris Nikich. Here is his amazing story.
Chris is changing the world.
Growing up, people treat me like different. Tell me that I can't do that or can't do this.
As he got older, he became very sedentary, and that's when we got involved in a Special Olympics triathlon, just as a way to get in shape and have some fun.
The first time he ever did a sprint with Special Olympics, he came in dead last, but you know what? Chris was happy.
We just started measuring his progress 1% at a time. In the first year and a half, he made great progress. He went from nothing to doing a sprint 14-mile triathlon. And then a year later, 140 miles and completed a full Ironman.
The goal on November 7th was to complete the full Ironman in 17 hours.
There is no roadmap with Chris. We haven't seen a Down syndrome athlete operating at the brink of human exertion.
The bike, it was the most intense thing. And I had to sit there for 8 hours, constantly, through pain.
Chris's whole life, he's been told he wouldn't amount to much. I've got to get him across this finish line.
On that night, I became the first person with Down syndrome to complete an Ironman. It was life-changing.
Chris Nikich can face adversity. The adversity that knocks most people out of the race under extreme conditions, with a bike crash, with ant bites, with cramping.
Now, I'm watching a bar.
The most special thing he could do is be a representative for Special Olympics and continue to inspire others around the world. And that's opening all kinds of doors for him.
I'm going to do the Boston Marathon, New York Marathon, Chicago Marathon.
Chris's training is not so he can become a better Ironman. It's so that he can really have either an independent life or a semi-independent life.
I don't quit.
Let them compete to the extent of their ability, but let's not decide what their ability is.
I don't give up.
Cool shots of big stuff getting demolished. 10 out of 10. These used to be cooling towers at a power station in the United Kingdom. Now you see them, now you don't. Here you have them, here you won't. It was a controlled implosion that brought down the remaining towers of a plant that was taken out of service 3 years ago. According to Newsweek magazine, the towers each stood 374 feet tall and contained 11,000 tons of concrete. We're just glad the demo crew was Yorkshire not to be putting anyone in danger. If you're looking to use a lot of bangers to mash down a tower, it's best to be sure there's no toad in the hole that could bubble and squeak when the fry-up comes down and threatens blood pudding. Who's hungry? Want to give a shout out to McGrath High School today, our viewers watching from Alberta, Canada. We hope all y'all come back tomorrow for more CNN 10. I'm Carl Azus.